Okay, so what they're saying is that for 15 hours of work, it's $13.20. Make that a little bit bigger. And for 28 hours, it's $23.60. So the hours is with the money, hours with the money. Okay, I'm the type of person that I'm going to avoid reading as much as possible. So as soon as I can make the reading math, it makes my life a lot easier. Okay, so they're going to want an equation. So in order to get an equation, I know I need to find the pattern. So this is plus 13, and this is plus 1040. To get my slope, I go 1040 over 13. Let me grab a calculator because I'm not sure what it is. So I used my 80, or I'm sorry, I used my calculator and I got 80. That's my slope. Now to get my y-intercept, I'll do y equals mx plus b. Pick one of the points, take the smaller point. 15 goes in for x, 1320 goes in for y. So 1320 equals, and then of course my m is 80. Okay, so 1320 equals, let's see, 30, 40, 1200 plus b, subtract 1200, subtract 1200. B equals 120. Okay, so now I have my b and I have my m, and they want the equation. So it feels like it should be y equals 80x plus 120, but it says create a function that represents how much she charges with hours. Actually, it doesn't quantify it, so that's actually fine. Y equals 80x plus 120. So you're good. Okay. Now, they don't necessarily want the slope and the y-intercept. They want to know what the slope and y-intercept represent. So they want to know, what does 80 mean? Well, 80, it's telling you you get 80 each time. Well, each time you what? Each time you have an hour, so each time you work. So you're getting $80 per hour, and that's how much they charge, okay? So they're charging $80 per hour. Now the y-intercept is the start. $120 doesn't mean that you can't write, I start with $120. That means there's an upfront fee of $120, okay? And I guess I should have said of $100. You can write it differently, that's fine, but you can't just go, I start with 120, because you don't start with it. This is how much they're going to charge you no matter what, okay? All right, now they're asking if I need her for 33 hours. So now I'm going to take the 33 and I'm going to plug it in there. So I'm going to go y equals 80 times 33 plus 120. Use my calculator. 2640 plus 120, 2760. Now, if I just write 2760 equals y, that is not real life. It says, how much will you charge? So you get charged $2,760. Okay, this time you have a budget of $2,000. So instead of the $2,000 going for the x, it goes in for the y. So 2,000 equals 80x plus 120, and solve for x. 1880 equals 80x, divide by 80. No shame in using your calculator. Okay, and I get 23.5. Okay, what does that mean? It means how many hours can she work for me? 23.5 hours. You're going to lose a point if you just tell me 23.5. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. I know I've got to solve it, but they're asking specifically for the second grade students. So if I see an X and a Y, I have to figure out X represents first grade. So they don't want me to solve for X. They want me to figure out what Y is, because Y is the second grade students. Now I can find X and then plug it in and get Y, but ultimately I need to know what my Y is. This, honestly, is really conducive for substitution. So I'm going to solve it by substitution. If you don't want to solve it by substitution, and you would like to solve it by linear combinations or craziness graphing, that's fine with me. I don't care. Just make sure you get the right answer. Okay, put the same together. Add 45. I'm going to carry it over here. I get 40x equals 160. Divide by 40. X equals 4. Now, X represents my first graders. I don't want my first graders, but I need to know my first graders in order to get my second graders. So I take that, plug it in. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, it says how many second grade students are there? There are 5 second grade students. You need to make sure that you tell me 5 what. I always like to know what you're talking about, or I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Here's the deal. They sold 83 tickets. There were students that came, and there were adults that came. Okay? So students and adults, but we don't know how many, but we know that when they bought all those tickets, it was 83 bucks. We know students' tickets cost $4, so it's 4 times S, because every time someone buys a ticket, $4, $4. Adult tickets are 5, and we know they made $391. Okay? The way I remember it is that money goes with money that goes with money. Money, money, money. And this is the only one that's not money. Now, this one doesn't lend itself to substitution. This one lends itself to elimination. So I'm going to multiply it. Remember, if I'm being simplistic, the last guy gets the first guy. The first guy gets the last guy, which is just a 1. And then one of them has to be negative. So I'm going to multiply and multiply and multiply. Or that would be minus 4a equals 83 times 4, 164, 328. Let me just make sure. 332, that's why. Negative 332. Now, if I multiply that by 1, honestly, nothing changes. Now, when I add, boom, I can eliminate. 1a equals 391 minus 332 equals 59. So divide by 1, a equals 59. Now that I have my a, I'll plug that a in here. And I'll go s plus 59 equals 83. S equals 24. So I got my A and I got my S. Okay? I can't just circle them. I want to know adults. So how many adults came? 59 adults and 24 students. Now I would like to point out, if this wasn't a video and I had a lot of time, what I should do is I should plug in and make sure that 4 and 5 work. So 10 times 4 is 40. 50 times 5 is 75. 75 plus 40 is 115. So I know that that one's good to go. Do the same thing here. 24 plus 59 is 83. 4 times 24 is 96. 59 times 5 is 295. I said plus 96. Oops, let's do it again. I'm sorry. 5 times 59 plus 4 times 24 plus 96, and I should get 480. Uh-oh. Okay, pausing to check, because I might have made a mistake. Okay, the mistake that I made is when I plugged it in. So be careful when you plug it in. So 5 times 59, 4 times 24, and when you add them it equals, so you're good to go. Okay? All right. This one's a little different, and you're going to be okay, I promise. This one relates to what you did on the previous page. Now, if you remember on the previous page, that was just like you take the previous guy, and here's what you do to it, and then you get the next one. So you take the previous guy, 2, you add 2, you get 4. Okay? So now you're just going backwards. Now, they told you that the first term was 13. And then what are they asking you to do to the previous guy? Minus 7. Minus 7. So 13 minus 7 is 6. Minus 7 is negative 1. Minus 7 is negative 8. That's it. Let's take the next one. The next one is, hey, what's the first term? Okay, 13. Now this time what they're doing is they're saying, okay, take that 13, multiply it by 2, and add 3. So 2 times 13 is 26, plus 3 is 29. Now they want you to take the 29, 2 times 29 is 58, plus 3 is 61. Take that. 2 times 61 is 122, plus 3 is 125. Okay? Page 2, done.